A Fox 46 investigation tonight out of Marlboro County, South Carolina. A dead man's family accuses a deputy county probate judge of plundering through a dead man's home just hours after he died. Well, the family has accused the judge of taking part in stealing cash, a gun, and other property that belonged to the man, along with impersonating a public official.
Our investigation found the judge had not been sworn in when this happened, but she pretended to be, and security cameras at the home activated by motion sensors captured everything we're about to show you. And here's Fox 46 Chief Investigator Jody Barr with tonight's final disrespects investigation.
Hollis Slade knew he was in trouble. After weeks of stomach pain, he called 911 for help. Slade was bleeding internally and could not move. His wife, Joyce, was trying to get him help, but she couldn't do much for her husband and stood by helplessly as medics loaded him into an ambulance. Joyce suffers from dementia and can't be left alone. A fireman hung around to make sure she was cared for.
How long have you two been together? A long time?
I can't tell you how many years off the top of my head.
What's the secret?
Just loving each other.
Just loving each other so well.
And he was such a bright, shining difference from what I had. We've been married a long time. I can't tell you how many years because my memory is not as long as it used to be.
She didn't know it then, but she'd never see her husband again. 1 week shy of his 68th birthday, Hollis Slade was dead. Now, we should probably explain these security cameras. Slade installed them to protect his thousands of dollars in foxhounds and to watch out for his wife when he left home. Nothing moved in Slade's yard without those cameras catching it. The family provided the recordings to us. Within hours of Slade's death, those cameras recorded Matthew Tomlinson's arrival. Hollis Slade had mentored Tomlinson, and he was deeply involved in Slade's hound hobby. A bit later, Tomlinson returned with 3 others, his mother, Charlotte Green, her boyfriend, Ricky Gardner, and their friend, Will Adams. The recordings show Adams making multiple calls to coroners. The recordings don't show why. Adams also worked to find Slade's family members to tell them about the death. The recordings also show the group going in and out of Slade's home.
I don't see nothing on the computer. I went through the files. I'll still try this. 99% of it.
And searching his property.
What the hell is that? Christmas present?
2 wheel from home.
It might be.
No, it says $2 from bottom.
He got a whole truck full of Christmas presents supposed to give me. Said he ain't opened yet.
The talk soon turns to who might end up with the things that belong to Hollis Slade. The recordings show Will Adams eventually got in touch with an attorney seeking probate information.
I think we got the right people working for us.
And passed that legal advice along to Ricky Gardner and Charlotte Green.
Drug that brother with it wrong. Well, everything would go to her and assets.
That's right.
But assets would be, here's what Jason's saying, and here's what Parker said. They actually said the same thing. So I reckon that's the way the statute of the law is that the oldest sibling.
The recording abruptly ended there. The talk eventually turned to the things they didn't want to leave behind.
It's kind of like you got $2,000 worth of tracking collars sitting in there.
What about all the money in the bank?
It's unreal. And
The 401k stack.
I hate to leave $2,000 worth of tracking collars and 2 garments sitting there.
This document was on Hollis Slade's computer, showing an accounting of those collars. There were 43 in all. Ricky Gardner's name was listed as the owner of 12 of those collars.
I swear I hate to leave all this.
It's going to be sad if somebody else comes.
Brother, I know he didn't want him to have it.
He didn't want him to have it.
I know he didn't want him to have it. I heard him say it.
This whole room really is about Hollis.
Beth Slade Bowling is Hollis Slade's oldest sister. She found out about her brother's death in one of those calls Will Adams made outside her brother's home. Bowling and her daughter hopped in the car the next morning to make the 12-hour trip from Indiana. Meanwhile, in Marlboro County, Ricky Gardner was the first to arrive the next morning.
Hollis' sister, they on the way. They're supposed to be here. They're supposed to be here this evening, 7, 8 o'clock or something.
The videos show this was the first time they were alone with Joyce. The cameras showed things soon started leaving the house and being loaded into Ricky Gardner's truck. The recordings showed this continued through the day, and sometime that morning, a woman who worked for the Marlboro County probate judge at the time showed up. That woman's name is Tammy Bullock. She had once worked with Hollis Slade at a paper mill he helped manage in town. She, too, did her share in the plundering. These cameras caught parts of conversations where Bullock, like the others, was there hunting for something specific.
His will, because we're his sister. We all taking turns rummaging through stuff and sitting with her and trying to make her eat. And I'm hoping, his sister's supposed to be here.
This all happened as Beth Slade Bowling was rushing towards South Carolina from Indiana. The group knew she was coming, and the videos show they had a plan for when she got there. Coming up.
So, if anything comes up and we need to, let them know that his secretary for the past 30 years is now a probate judge, and if they need me, we just need to be nice. We don't need to talk finances. We don't need to say we turned the house upside down today trying to find the wheel.
A sister on the way to plan her brother's funeral.
I am figuring out that there are some untrustworthy people in Marlboro County, and I don't know what to do.
Would end up in front of the county sheriff asking for a criminal investigation.
They stole from Mr. Hollis.
And the caretaker, who says the group turned her into a witness.
They were ripping the man off, and he hadn't even got cold.
When our final disrespects investigation continues after the break.